Hi, I'm Matt Ehlers. I teach at McCallum High School. I teach percussion and steel drums and Brazilian drums. Teach a little bit of band as well.
You could have just said I teach at McCallum High School.
Sure. Hi, I'm Matt Ehlers.
Welcome to Sketchbook Podcast, a discussion about inspiration and process with artists, creators, and designers. As usual, I'm your host, Daniel Montoya Jr., and today we are having a discussion, a percussion discussion. And this percussion discussion, that's right, I said percussion. This percussion discussion is with Seward. Seward, boy, that's Arrested Development, Seward. With Seward, Nebraska native Matt Ehlers, who is currently in his 14th year at A.N. McCallum High School and Lamar Middle School in Austin, Texas. That's right, I said Austin, Texas, because the schools are both in Austin, Texas. Now, Matt, your groups have played at P.A.S.I.C in 2006 and 2012. At the Midwest Clinic in 2012, 2015, 2017, and 2019, taking both the middle school and high schools into account, correct? Of all these accolades and honors, I have to assume that the greatest moment in all of these would have to be when you played bass drum in the piece Hoverboard, which the Lamar Middle School Band played at Midwest in 2017. Am I right?
True. Yes. Correct.
Thank you. Who wrote that piece?
One, Daniel Montoya Jr.
Thank you. Thank you. That's very nice of you for bringing that up. I usually don't like talking about myself on this thing. So the format, I like to get you hooked and comfortable, and then I ask other questions, but you're an avid fan, so we're just going to jump right into this. Matthew, who inspired you to go into music?
Okay.
Did you think I was just going to throw softballs at first?
Yeah.
We're going straight for the gut here.
That's good. Okay, so I started to really take music seriously my 8th grade year. So when I started band, like most of us, I was a 6th grader, and I kind of started it because I was really bad at choir and I got in a lot of trouble.
Oh.
And so I had this opportunity to go into band, and I always kind of liked drums, but I didn't know a lot about it. And I made the percussion section, and I didn't take it serious at all.
What?
And
I was in Seward?
Seward, Nebraska, the Blue Jays.
Go Blue Jays.
That's right. And it's a pretty small town, like a town of 6,000.
Cool.
And so I was doing the middle school band thing, and I was playing sports and all this stuff. Then all of a sudden, in 8th grade, there was an opening in the jazz band. Yeah. The drum set spot was open, and these two girls that I liked.
Why'd you make that face? It's okay to like girls.
It is. That's true. So these two girls that I liked, who I was really good friends with as well, played in the jazz band. One played piano, one played saxophone. And they were like, "Hey, Matt, you need to audition for this." And I was like, "Yeah, I'll do it." And I had never played drum set before. I didn't own a drum set. I knew nothing.
Wow.
And I can only assume, so I practiced a little bit, just like, I guess, like on the table, or I don't, I can only assume that nobody else auditioned.
Because you made it.
I did. It was crazy. And so my parents were so proud of me for like going for something and for doing something besides sports. I was really big into athletics, and I still am. But they were so proud of me for doing something like this. They were like, we would like to buy your drum set so you can practice and prepare for all this stuff. And so we were looking in the want ads, which I guess doesn't...
It's the class. It would be the Craigslist of back then, right?
Yes, in the paper.
Yeah. The Facebook Marketplace. And
we found this drum set this is crazy, for $350.
That's a good deal.
All right. And it's a Slingerland. And at the time I didn't know this, and I know this now, but 1964 Red Sparkle.
Okay, what's the significance of that?
It's very iconic jazz kind of classic set.
And you got it for $350.
Yeah, and I had no idea what it was. Obviously, the people we purchased it from had no idea what it was. It's crazy. The only downside of it is like it has all the old hardware. It's pretty hard. You need like a ratchet set to adjust the tom, but sounds great. All this stuff. And so I got that, and I started jamming out all the time and learning, and jazz band was fun. And then that year was also the first year that I saw kind of the high school Drumline.
What high school? Seward High School?
Seward High School.
Were they all named like Seward Elementary, Seward Junior High, Seward High School?
And we're all the Blue Jays.
Oh, like the Hutto Hippos, right? Aren't they all Hippos in Hutto?
I think so.
Something like that.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And I was enamored. And I went home that day, and I was like, "Hey, Mom, I think I want to take drum lessons. I want to be in the drum line next year. And she was like, what? Because my mom was in marching band.
Oh.
And she wanted us to be, she loved it. And she wanted us to be in band. My sister did band through middle school and then stopped there, at that point. 8th grade to 9th grade seems to be the point.
Yeah, of course.
And going into 8th grade, that was probably going to be me as well. I was like, I'm going to do other things. But she was super excited. She's like, well, it's a small town, remember, there's not like drum teachers available. But there was a student who was really serious about drums who, let's see, he would have been a junior during that time.
Oh, okay.
His name's Chris Coleman. Oh. And she was like, oh, we should call Chris up. And she taught Chris in 3rd grade.
Okay.
My mom's a 3rd grade teacher.
Gotcha. Okay.
And she's like, I hear he gives lessons and all this stuff. So I called this junior up. And it was like terrifying.
Yeah.
Like, hi, my name's Matt Ehlers. I saw the Drumline yesterday or whatever. And he was super cool. And he was like, yeah, let's come over to my house, and he started teaching me and preparing me. And I ended up making the snare line as a freshman and doing all that. And so getting into high school band, like my freshman year, I think is typical for many freshmen. It's by far the best musical thing you've ever done, like or been a part of, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like from an ensemble, from a like structure and demand. It's just like, wow, this is the best. We're amazing. Even if you're not, if it's the best thing you've ever done, it feels amazing.
Yeah, exactly.
And hopefully you can do that, be the best that you can be over and over again. But that's probably the first time that I was like, we are the best. We are so good. And throughout that year, by the end of the year, I kind of was like, I think I want to do music and I think I want to teach band.
Wow. Well, so was it Chris Coleman or was it the two girls?
A combination. So actually, Chris's dad was the high school band director too. Oh, Dennis Coleman.
Dennis Coleman. Sorry, I don't know who that is.
It's okay. It's quite all right.
Okay.
And so Chris, hopefully I can hook up with him this summer. Chris is actually a drummer in New York now. And yeah, he's great. He's a fantastic player. And the McCallum band's playing at Carnegie Hall.
Humble brag.
That's right. And it's a trip that we do every 4 years.
Oh.
And 4 years ago, I was able to kind of hook up with Chris, and he came and watched us rehearse, and I introduced him to the students. I was like, this is my first drum teacher. And he's a great guy.
Sure.
Keep in touch with him. So like that.
Shout out to Chris Coleman.
That's right. He's awesome.
Oh, okay. Great. Now, Matt, you were awarded the McCallum High School Teacher of the Year for the 2010-2011 school year. That makes you 1 for 14. What happened those other 13 years?
Man, yeah, I guess that year I was really trying hard. And I can tell you what happened that year.
Okay.
So there was a brief period of time at McCallum that I guess I was younger.
I was going to say, you're young now. Yeah,
sure.
You've got a foot in your age.
That's true.
There
you
go.
And I guess I didn't feel like I had enough on my plate, and so I started a faculty steel band.
You did a faculty steel band?
Yeah, it was like I don't have enough after school rehearsals,
right? Yeah,
so let's do another one on Thursdays, man. And it was a huge success, and. So I think that's why all the teachers said I was Teacher of the Year,
because you taught them steel drums.
Yeah,
that goes hand in hand with something you were talking about earlier, off air, not off camera, as I've learned. So you had professional development Monday and Tuesday.
We did,
and you were telling me about teaching teachers.
Yeah, actually, one year it was called Teach the Teachers. I think this year is called Teach Your Passion. I think that's what it's called.
And you said that normally the teachers volunteer to do this, but you keep getting nominated, correct?
Yeah, I get voluntold.
So what do you do?
So I get volunteered to teach these hour-long courses on steel drums. And it is a lot of fun because it's a challenge for me. It's like, okay, we have 1 hour. And I don't want to spend the whole time talking about history or Trinidad or anything like or Carnival because people want to play. Yeah, that's why they're there.
Just let me drum.
And so I'll put in little interesting tidbits. But can I teach them a song in an hour? That's amazing.
And do you?
So this year I did Oye Como Va, standard rep kind of.
Yes, very good.
Yeah, who wrote that tune?
Carlos Santana?
Incorrect.
Oh, no. Oh my God. Oh crap, I'm getting called out on my own podcast. I know the answer to this, but I cannot. You put me on the spot, Matt. Who is it?
Tito Puente.
Oh, right. Oh.
Yes, but recorded by Santana.
Oh my God.
I can see why
I can see the angry letters coming at me right now. Great.
So this year I tried to do a different tune each year. This year I did Oye Como Va. Now the first section, we made it through kind of the A section of the tune. And I was like, I could see it like, we're going to run out of time here. Right. And so I was like, all right, we're gonna do a cut to the end. And so we were able to kind of have an intro, the A section, and the outro.
Yeah.
Now the second one, I also think I taught a little bit better the second one. You know how it is? It's like you do something and you immediately follow it up, and it's like, oh yeah, I made all these mistakes there. So the second one we learned pretty much the whole tune. There's a little bridge that I didn't teach them, like a build up, but I taught them like an A, B, and C section. So they learned quite a bit. It was fun in an hour. Now name another instrument that you could do that on.
Maybe piano, but
so if you have, that's true.
You could learn chopsticks.
That's true. That's true.
But that's the only song I think one could learn. But you're right. I mean, give them a snare drum, they could learn something because you just bang on it.
Big old snare ensemble.
That's what you should. That's the next one is we're gonna bang on snare drums.
Yeah. So that's I find one thing that I love and find fascinating about steel drums is that it is so accessible and you can have instant success, like a lot of percussion where I could hand whoever this stick and they could hit this drum. And it's like, oh, I have a college degree. I spent thousands of dollars learning this and you sound as good as I do. But steel drums, same thing. But then you can also take it as far as you're like Liam Teague or Andy Norell. You can take it as far as any instrument.
Right.
So I think it's a cool instrument from that standpoint.
I wouldn't argue with that. I love the steel drums. Matty, as you said, Matty Ehlers. Did you go by Matty when you were younger?
My sister would call me Maddie, and I hated it, but yes.
So Maddie, what's been the most rewarding project thus far in your career?
Oh, okay. Wow. The most rewarding project. There definitely has been a few that have been incredibly rewarding. The one is actually 2016. So 2015, we had a really fantastic percussion section. We played at P.A.S.I. We were one of the percussion ensemble winners that year and presented a concert. And we had like 12 seniors. It was like a crazy amount, especially for a section our size. And they were all fantastic. I think 4 of them went on to study music.
Jeez,
like
good for you.
Amazing players. And at that time, there was a weird time. There was a moment in my career where I was not teaching at Lamar because Lamar had an assistant director who was also a percussionist.
Okay.
And then we actually added a steel drum class for me at McCallum and all this stuff. But there was a time when he left, and there was like a 2-year period where I was trying to work it out to drop the steel drum class, and it didn't work exactly at first.
Sure.
But we didn't have as many kids coming in. So these 12 graduated, and we were super small and very young. And it's a lot of work, And I remember our head director, Carol Nelson, in May, after auditions, we were doing our May music camps. And I went up to her, and I was like, Carol, this is, I'm not sure this is going to work. And she just kind of, this is definitely Carol's style. She looked at me and smirked, and she goes, well, I guess we'll see how good a teacher you really are. We just got done playing at P.A.S.I. and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, put my head down, like, here we go. And it was fantastic. Like the kids, that's probably the most growth I've ever seen. Every day we got better, and every day was a challenge. Our bottom bass drummer, he came to me as a junior. I want to join band. I want to play drums, and we needed people. So I was like, sure. And he's a big kid, really nice kid. Yeah. So I taught him all the parts by tapping on his shoulders.
Like Mr. Holland's Opus.
I guess, yeah.
Have you ever seen that movie?
I have, like...
Well, he was trying to teach him how to play on the beat, and there's one where he's got the helmet on and he's hitting him on the head. It's fine.
I was more on the shoulder. He actually felt the beat very well.
Oh, okay.
Douglas is his name.
Douglas.
Yeah. He just had never read before.
Right.
So I was like, man, here we go.
Well, there's a famous example of a boy who ended up becoming the drum captain for his college drumline. He couldn't read music either.
Yeah.
That boy was Nick Cannon.
That's right.
Nick Cannon. He's the best drummer they got.
Paul Rennick told us once that he goes, you guys are going to be really mad at me. They wanted us to be in that movie.
Yeah, y'all would have lost every drumline contest because y'all want to go like first.
Well, I imagine that it would have been like, yeah, we would have been the laughing stock.
Booed off the
and maybe
stage.
Paul saw that. And
He probably did.
So
he goes, call Texas Southern. They're gonna do it.
That's really what you're looking
exactly.
for.
Yes. So, well, you could have been in the movie Drumline, the movie.
Oh man, I know.
The BET classic.
Yes, classic. That's right.
It is classic.
Yeah,
Wow.
so that's one of the most memorable.
So are those kids? Were they just seniors, or are they seniors now? Like those?
Okay, those 2016, they are seniors now. So those kids.
Oh, so those kids are the ones that just played in Midwest.
Yes, they got put through the ringer. They're unbelievable. They're awesome kids. And out of that group, let's see here. There are 3 of them that are going to go on to study music.
Wow,
which is great.
A little worse than last time, but okay,
I'm sorry.
So
there's only 8 of them.
All right.
It's a little smaller.
Yeah,
but they really have. They immediately as freshmen, percussion ensemble wise, and a lot of them are in the wind ensemble. They just immediately was like, no, this is what we play.
That earlier group where you said 12 were seniors and 4 was one of them. Was one of those kids Lewis?
No, Lewis. I believe his senior year was 2012, and we played at Midwest that year with the steel band.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes,
and so Lewis graduated. I guess it would have been 2013. Like 12.
Gotcha. Fall 12. Lewis Raymond
Kolker.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so I only know him because I think he played drum set for Guardians.
He did. Right? Yes.
And then I was like, and then he's like doing all these funny videos where he's on the elevator playing a steel. I'm like, what the heck is going on? And then I find out like he's a McCallum grad.
He is.
He's one of Ehlers' boys.
He's fantastic. Say. Lewis is. You will hear his name more often.
I hear it all the time.
He's fantastic.
According to your fancy Midwest Clinic biography, you coordinate all of the middle school and high school percussion curriculum, conduct the beginner and advanced steel bands at McCallum, and co-direct the JV full orchestra. This is in addition to what you do with the marching band. And at some point, did you do a band also, I'm assuming?
Actually, this will be the first year I haven't done a band.
Congratulations. You also founded a 30-piece Brazilian Samba School known as the Samba Knights at McCallum High School. And you co-direct the Inside Out Steel Band Camp, which you also helped create. Are you the hardest working percussion teacher in Central Texas?
I don't. Some would say dumbest. I don't know. I don't know. I guess I have a problem.
What does your wife say?
Yeah. So I am starting to get better at this, but I have a problem saying no.
Oh. Yes, you did come on this podcast.
That's right. It's typical for like people ask me all the time, like, what is your best percussion instrument? And my best answer is I'm a jack of all trades, master of none.
Sure.
And that is truly me. I could never pick one thing. That's why I kind of played a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
And so when I see something cool, I'm just like, yeah, let's do it. Let's create this steel band camp or whatever. And actually like teaching all this stuff at McCallum, I feel fortunate. When I was very young, I was 23 when I started. And so I guess I was 24 in the spring, the first time I took a band to UIL. I was teaching the second band. I was teaching grade 4s.
Right off the bat, huh?
Yeah. And it was a ton of work, and I had a steep learning curve. And then I also did the JV orchestra, full orchestra stuff. And so doing that immediately, I've taught a lot, I guess, and you learn by doing. You try to get that 10,000 hours, and
that's what they say.
I don't know if it's worked for me yet. I'm sure I have 10,000
at this point. You might,
but yeah, I feel fortunate to get that. Now I am trying to reel back. I mean, because I'm married, I have a daughter.
Congratulations!
Thank you. I know it's amazing, isn't
it?
Yes,
you just got married. Wow, literally today. He's waiting to go to his honeymoon after this recording session.
That's right.
That's right. Yeah, so you want to start saying no, pull back.
Yes,
spend more time.
Trying to do that and make sure that everything I do is, quality and not just stretching myself so thin that you're not doing anything at your absolute best. Because I do think it's important, as they say, excellence transfers and stuff like that.
They do say that.
They do, or as from your I learned this from your podcast. Everything all the time.
Oh, everything.
That's Mike Bishop, right? Yeah. I thought that was great. And then he followed it up and he said, the way you do anything becomes the way you do everything.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, I'm going to,
yes.
like, I'm going to save that one.
Right.
Yeah.
You just save it.
Save it.
And then you just use it again.
Then I'll use it. Not as much on you, but I'd rather use it on my students. But.
Right. Well, I appreciate you using it on me. You just tested it out. It's like doing a stand-up comedy before the TV special, right?
That's right. I need a little work on my timing.
Yeah, that's fine. You won't have microphones in front of you.
Okay.
Matt, what is your most prized material possession?
Okay, I think probably I own a vibraphone, and it's a 1982 Deegan. It's a really nice vibe, and
it's a nice vibe too.
Yes, it has a nice vibe.
That's right.
Yes, it's actually the vibraphone that I learned to read music on.
Oh wow!
And, so like when I was talking about my middle school band experience, we really were just drummers. And sure. I remember if we had a mallet part, he would pull this clarinet girl back, and she played piano.
Yeah.
And she's actually the piano player in the jazz band, by the way. And the one that you convinced me.
God. Yeah, convinced you.
and she would play all the mallet parts.
Right, of course.
So I got into high school. I mean, I couldn't read melodic notation really. And let's see, when I got real serious about percussion, it's kind of my sophomore year. Chris Coleman had moved, and he was going to college at University of Northern Colorado in Greeley. And his parents, his dad was actually he was only my band director my freshman year in high school. Okay. But they still lived in my town, and they were good friends. They gave me a key to their house, and they had this vibraphone in their house. And I would go to their house almost every day and practice out of this Garwood Whaley book.
Yep.
Green book, and every page was like a different scale.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's what I did. And his wife would come home, Katie, she was awesome. And she would call up, "Are you going to stay for dinner?" Stuff like that. And they were super sweet. And so I have a good sentimental connection to these vibes. And when I was in college, Chris called me. He's like, "Hey, I'm never at home. I'm looking at selling these vibes, and I wanted to give you the first chance." And so I bought them while I was in college.
Wow.
And I don't play them as much as I wish I would, or as definitely as much as I used to, but I still just like having them there. Of
course.
So that's probably it.
That might be the best answer ever on this podcast for that question. So take that, everybody who was on here before. Was it the skinny bar Deegan vibe?
It is a little skinny.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that kind of bugs me sometimes. It's not like super skinny, but it's not as graduated as what they are now. Yeah. Yeah. But it sounds great.
I'm sure it does. Yeah.
Yeah. And in college, I took a lot of jazz vibe lessons from Ed Smith. Like basically once I was done with my marimba barriers, I kind of went that direction and did that almost until I graduated. I really enjoyed it a lot.
You like the vibe?
I do. Love the vibe.
Yeah. What is it like to get to teach with and compete with such phenomenal percussion teachers in the Austin area, such as Rick Rodriguez, Roland Chavez, Joe Hobbs, Hector Heel, Paul Pape, etc.? These guys aren't just some of the finest educators in the city, but the state and the nation. Like, we hang out with these guys.
Yes.
And then your kids go up against their kids. And it's probably a combination of inspiring, intimidating, wonderful, anxiety, like all that stuff, right? Like,
yes. No, I mean, you kind of hit it. It's a combination of all of those. And accountability. It's like when you're going to the Dripping Springs Drumline contest or whatever contest, and it's like, oh, Vandergrift, Vista Ridge, Cedar Park, they're all going to be there. Oh man, I better. Okay, you rat kids, you got to look better than this. Like it forces you to teach every single person, and so it is intimidating because those guys are unbelievable and their programs are unbelievable. The best part about this, and actually referencing your podcast again,
thank you.
I think Paul Pape mentioned this, that the vibe in the Central Texas, Austin area is a little different from what I gather. This is the only place I've taught.
Sure.
But from what I hear from others, we are a little more communal.
Yeah.
And we do hang out a lot.
We sure do.
Yeah. And, we call each other a lot and bounce ideas off each other. Honestly, one of the people that I've learned most from in the last 5 years, I feel like as a teacher, I've improved a lot in the last 5 years, actually, and it's a lot from Paul Pape.
Who no longer teaches percussion anymore.
Well, that kind of was my in. It was like, oh, he has a little more time.
Sure, yeah.
And so let me pick your brain.
Yeah.
And, it's not a secret thing. It's education. You're trying to help everybody. But I think everybody's that way. Hector's that way.
Yeah.
Hector and I talk a lot about different teaching tools, methods, approaches. a lot about lit.
I bet.
So yeah, it's all of those things, but most of all, like we're all friends and we all enjoy each other's company, which is most important. Like the day of a drumline contest, my phone blows up with texts from several people saying, "Good luck, man. Can't wait to see you." And we get group texts that day, which I think is unique for this area. So it is a contest and we want to do well.
Sure.
We take a lot of pride in that. But most importantly, like we're all friends. We're all in this together because it is a grind.
It really is. Y'all work hard.
Yeah.
Y'all work too hard.
Sometimes I would agree with you.
Yeah, I would think so. I would think so. I think that's also part of the reason why drumlines are so exceptional here. Same thing with the band is everyone's kind of friends and they push each other in a very personal way. It's not just, thumb, on them and trying to grind them and break their necks, but it's friendship, it's accountability. It's like you said, and it's friendly competition. So that just makes it get better and better because it's not that you want to necessarily beat them all the time, but you want to make sure you look good and like, hey, don't make me look bad in front of Roland Chavez,
right. When you don't want to just get passed up by him.
And that's the thing, And every once in a while you want to get a good lick in there.
Yeah.
Everyone's taking their licks at one point. You're just like, oh God, I got beat this. And then next year, like, hey, I've got the trophy,
Right.
So yeah, I got you. No, I can imagine not having taught for a long time now, how much fun, but how scary it could be from time to time.
Exactly.
Yeah. Is there a person or persons that you credit with jump-starting your career, Matt?
Okay.
Yeah. I thought you listened to every episode. Shouldn't you know these questions are coming?
Well, you have a lot of questions.
I do.
And you kind of cycle through them.
I do.
Yeah,
some of them don't, I don't think like, that's not a Matt Ehlers question.
Oh, sorry.
You're fine. You don't apologize. It's just a table.
Yeah. Okay. Person for jump starting my career.
Yeah.
Can I say a few, or do I have to stick with one?
Nobody ever answers these questions.
That's true.
Yeah, they're like, I'm going to give 3 It's like, great. Go ahead. Okay. I did say persons, so
persons.
That fits. Yes.
Okay. The first person would be Nick Williams.
Dr. Nick Williams. He's been mentioned many times on this podcast.
Yes. I had a good relationship with him throughout college. He was our marching band instructor. And then I was super lucky at the time. I was at North Texas. So their requirement was to do marching band for 3 years. And for me, it was super educational because I did snare my first year, bass my second year, quads my third year.
Good for you.
That's where
quads. Wow, they marched quads back then?
No, that was quints.
That's my new hill. All right, I've got a number of hills.
Should I say tenors or?
Please say tenors or timp-toms. I will take timp-toms.
Timp-toms.
Yeah, why not?
Why?
Well, why not?
Okay. So I marched quints.
It's the quints, not septs as they march.
No,
gotcha. You're in the quints. All right.
So I learned a lot, and it helped me understand writing more and all this stuff.
Sure.
And then my 4th year, so I didn't have to do it, but at that time there was a grad student and an undergraduate that Nick would hire to write the book and teach.
Oh wow!
And he said, "Well, okay, your 4th year, you can help Jimmy Lebrecht."
Yes, Jimmy.
Yeah, teach. Jimmy's going to write, and you'll help him teach, and then you'll have an audition, writing one tune, and if you write that well, then we'll hire you your 5th year.
Oh wow!
So I did that, and it was fun. I learned a lot from Jimmy's one of my close friends. He's another person I've learned a lot from as far as being a good teacher and stuff. But so Jimmy and I taught the drum line, and Jimmy and a grad student, I forget which one, wrote the books. Then I had one tune that I wrote, Mambo Caliente.
Oh, I was going to say, Oye, ¿cómo va?
I wish. It was a Latin tune, though. And I did transcribe a whole bunch of like timbali licks and put them in, of course.
You have to.
Yes. And so I guess I passed the audition, and Nick hired me then the next year to teach and write. And so I got all this great experience, immediate feedback from writing and doing like 4 or 5 shows, and then Nick, equally as important, set me up with my student teaching experience, like gave me an in, and I student taught with Bill Watson at Richland High School and Cindy Lansford at Richland Middle School.
Sure, yeah.
So I had it was knockout. And actually I reflect on it now, and I don't feel like I got as much as I should have even.
But did you know who they were?
Nick prepared me.
Right.
And also another, one of the band directors at Richland back then was Kevin McNulty, who I knew. I had played in the North Texas Drumline with him and stuff like that. And he and I went out for drinks before the semester started. And he's like, make sure you do these things. Like, make sure you keep Bill happy and do these. And I did. I mean, I felt like I was taking it serious, but when you're young,
right.
It's like, I think I would take it more serious now.
Well, yes.
And so that was fantastic, and all of that. I feel very fortunate. And they kind of helped me get this job here in Austin, which was also kind of by chance or by luck. Like the position opened at McCallum and they wanted a percussionist who played steel drums.
Oh.
Who also could conduct a band.
And it was you, and that was it.
They called Mark Ford, and Mark Ford said, actually, we have this guy named Matt who's graduating. And he gave Carol my cell phone number. And then they called some other people in the Dallas area that kind of mutual friends, and they all were super nice and gave me a good rec. Wow. And I had only been to Austin like once before then. Oh, maybe twice. I know.
Wow.
And so here I am. This is my 14th year. I love Austin.
So my question, sure. Carol she bleeds the burnt orange, right?
She does.
Yes, as many of us do. UT has a steel drum band.
They do.
And so I'm just kind of thinking out loud here, like, wouldn't there be people that fit that description that went to the University of Texas at Austin?
Sure.
But you were better.
I don't know. We're going to
go with that. Sure. That's what what I'm getting at is that you beat them all, right?
Yes, every one of them.
Every one of them. That's right. So basically, North Texas steel band is better than UT steel band.
Okay, I'll tell you this. One difference is the head of percussion at North Texas runs the steel band.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. And here at UT, it's always a grad student. So it's like a 2-year rotation.
Right.
And
that's
I think
true.
Whenever that happens, it's not taken as serious. And most of the percussion majors at UT don't plan steel.
Well, I was going to say the UT percussion studio is vastly different than it was under George Frock.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean one's better or worse. It's just that when Michael came in, I'm sorry, God, I can't miss it. When Tom came in, he changed the whole face of the percussion there. And I like what they're doing. The kids that they're producing are amazing.
Yeah.
But you're right. And I think at Texas State, when I was there, the director of percussion there taught the steel drum band. That was a lot of fun. But he's been doing it for like 40 years now. So if you're listening to this, I know you're not 70 or 80 years old. But that makes sense. That makes sense. What was the steel drum band called at North Texas?
It's not very creative. They have two bands. They have like a beginning and an advanced band. And the beginning band is called the 8 o'clock band.
Lame.
And the advanced band is called the 2 o'clock band. Because that's the time of day they rehearse.
No, I get it.
Oh, you already got it. Yeah, I think they get that from the lab bands.
You think?
I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I came from the Panorama steel band, so... Get it? Panorama?
No, I got it.
All right. I'll tell Mr. Gonzalez.
If we were talking about steel band names... Going back to when I taught the staff steel band, this is the best name.
Oh, they came up with a name for themselves?
And we had T-shirts and everything.
You're kidding. Oh, my God.
Yeah, and we would piggyback on our student performances. Staph infection.
Oh, my God. That is incredible. That really is the best. It doesn't have pan in it. But
I know. One of the few, best name.
That's like that beats Scrantonicity.
Yes,
because that's a pretty good band name, Scrantonicity.
Oh, well, okay. Here's another one of my favorite all-time cover band names. You ready? I'm not going to say the one that you're thinking.
Good, because we're getting to that later.
Okay. It's a Dallas cover band, Tom Petty, and they are called Petty Theft.
I like the wordplay.
I like good
wordplay.
Yeah,
that's awesome. I appreciate that. Speaking of music, what is the last piece of music you listened to?
The very last piece of music I listened to was actually a percussion ensemble recording of us from Midwest. I just got those last night.
Yes, I know. You've been peppering all over Facebook. That's why I said I know Lewis's name, because you keep sharing those videos. You know who else I know? Greg Simon, another guy I know. Yeah, we'll get to this later also. As well. Okay. Tons of people that I know that you programmed on your concert.
Do you know Greg Simon?
Greg Simon and I were part of the BCM International Forums. Back in the day, forums were a big thing. And the BCM guys were Eric Whitaker, Jim Bonney, Steve Bryant, and Jonathan Newman. And both of us, it was like me, him, and a bunch of other composers that some may or may not know, were just part of like the forums. And we talked about music, we talked about ridiculous things, and just I know his name because of the forums. And I know, and is he Lewis's professor?
He's one of them, yeah.
Yeah. So once I saw, like, because Spoiler alert. Matt didn't play any of my music at Midwest this year. Or at P.A.S.I.C. Really, I don't think he's ever played any of my music.
That's not true.
At a major convention or conference.
Oh.
That doesn't mean that the bass drum part he played in Hoverboard counts. That's different. That's Lamar Middle School Band. But, I was like, who are all these people? I mean, I know who the people are. I know who Holst is, right? And then I was like, Greg Simon. How the heck does that get a connection? And then I did a little digging. I was like, he teaches Lewis. Lewis is this. Yes, gotcha. So what piece was it that you listened to? You said it's one of your own that you performed.
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah. You had I was like glossy eyed by the end of that. That I was listening to a piece by Cliff Walker called Iceberg.
I know Cliff Walker. I know. I mean, we're acquaintances. I don't know him personally.
It's really a fantastic piece.
Great.
Really
sure
good textures.
Oh, I bet.
Okay, how about this? Why don't we do?
Wait a minute. Who's interviewing who? Yes, Matt. What? Let's go.
We can go with something else that I've listened to. How about what I listened to?
I was gonna say, what did you listen to in the car on the way over here? Literally that recording?
No, not in the car. In the car, I was listening to talk radio.
Oh,
but at home,
probably on vinyl.
Let's see. Yeah. Yeah.
You're one of those guys.
I am. That's true.
Yes.
Yeah. When you walk, as you know, when you walk into our house, that's what we have. We don't have a TV. We have a record player.
Good for you.
And so, yeah, when we're cooking dinner or whatever, we just throw on a record. So, like last night, a really cool artist named Charles Bradley.
I don't think I know that one.
He's kind of like a soul artist, and I think he put out his first album when he was like 60, and I think he died when he was 70. It was a very short-lived career, James Brown-esque.
Sure.
And then kind of a standard in our house is Jason Isbell.
Don't think I know that name.
Really fantastic songwriter. So my wife has gotten me more into like singer-songwriter and actually listening to lyrics. I'm the quintessential drummer where I'm terrible with lyrics, like awful. I'm terrible actually with song titles too.
Great.
Because like it's just if you don't sing the lyric, you don't know.
Sure. So you didn't know that it was called Bohemian Rhapsody because he doesn't say Bohemian Rhapsody in the song? Is that what it is?
Perhaps. So Jason Isbell, he has an album called Southwestern that's really great.
Okay, so that's what you're going to say.
There you go. So
all right, that's fine. I'll allow it. We'll take that. We'll take that one. In the year 2001, in Akron, Ohio, Dan Auerbach and Patrick Carney came together to create an American rock band called the Black Keys. My wife, the girl, is a huge fan, and one of her life's dreams would be for the Black Keys to give her a personal concert. Assuming that I can't make that happen, nor I could afford it, is there another option that one could take to give her a similar experience? A McDowell's to McDonald's, if you will?
In fact, there is.
What the hell you say?
And the option is closer than you think here. It's
wait. Hold on. What?
Well, it's right here in Austin, Texas. And their name is the Black Squeeze.
I love the word. Is this a Black Keys cover band?
Yeah, I think actually it'd be more accurate to call it a tribute band, right? Because cover bands play music from many artists.
That's true.
Yeah,
I apologize for misspeaking.
Yeah.
Wow. Who are the two artists that make up the Black Squeeze?
Joel Johnson.
Don't know who that is.
Joel's just an amazing guy. And he actually lives in San Marcos now. Oh. But Joel used to be assistant band director at Lamar Middle School when I started.
Is that who you're talking about, who was teaching the percussion there?
No.
Oh.
No, this is this is back when I started teaching. He was the assistant, and he was one of the first people to really like friend me here in Austin. I didn't really know many people in Austin.
Oh, well.
And, yeah, I know. Because I didn't go to SW.
That's right, son.
Yeah.
We run this town.
You do. I know. I was like the outsider. I didn't know anybody.
It's like you and Rick, right?
Yeah.
You and Rick from North Texas,
Yeah.
and then like Hector from TCU. Hector and Dave, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they're cousins. So,
So Joel taught there, and the other person is me, I guess.
wait, what?
Yes.
Are you the Patrick Carney? Is that my wife's probably
Yes.
Okay, Patrick is the drummer,
Uh-huh.
and Dan is the lead singer.
That's
guitar player.
correct. Yeah. So Joel, I'm trying to think of the year, maybe 2009-ish.
It's more than 10 years ago.
Yeah, maybe 2008. I don't know. So he approached me with this idea, and actually at that time I had barely heard of the Black Keys. And as we've already talked about today, is like we're busy as band directors.
That's what
and I was kind of like, no, I don't know. And he kind of just kept on like, he's like, dude, just come and try it. And so I rehearsed with him, and immediately I was like, man, he's really good. And this music's really fun.
Sure.
And so I was in, and we did it for probably 5 years. Maybe
What?
6. I think we knew like 80 tunes.
Wow.
Now, if you asked me if I knew 80 song titles, I would say no.
Right.
There was many times on stage that he called out a tune, and I'd look at him and be like, how's this start? And my favorite answer that made me feel most confident was when he'd say, don't worry, it starts with me. and it was one of those, as soon as I heard the opening riff, I'm like, okay, we're good.
Right.
But if some of them start with some drum beats.
Sure.
And he would kind of sing them to me, and I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, I got it.
God.
Yeah, it just was.
You're the worst.
Yeah, you're right. No, we had a lot of fun, doing it. And I learned a lot.
Did you do a final concert? Like y'all knew this was the end?
Unfortunately, we didn't.
So what you're saying is that now is the time. It is ripe for a reunion concert.
Yeah, I think they just came out with an album.
Did they?
Like 2000.
My wife would know.
Last year. Yeah, I haven't listened to it. I should listen to it.
Wow.
I don't remember I think it's called Let's Rock or something.
Sounds about
something right. Rock. So we didn't have a final concert, which maybe we should.
I think so.
I think
a private concert?
Yeah.
That's my God. Like right here?
We did play a wedding once.
Wow.
Yeah, and we were like, the best part about weddings is you get paid more. Anyway.
Is it? And you get free booze, right?
Yeah, compared to playing at Beerland, it's like...
Beerland.
Yeah, we played some like trophies, Beerland. We played in San Marcos a lot at, I think it's shut down now. What is it called?
The Green Parrot.
Triple Crown.
I was going to say,
yes,
I was going to go through the list, but yes, Triple Crown. Oh my God. Matt just unplugged his headphones. He can barely hear me now.
There we go.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay, good.
Yeah, we played at Triple Crown quite a bit.
So excited. He's the first one to ever do that.
So I forget what we were going on.
You're gonna do a farewell, reunion farewell, a one-time only concert here in my dining room.
Yes, we would love to. It's gonna be loud.
Okay, roll down the windows or whatever.
Because that guitar sound. That's one thing about the fuzz on it.
Yeah,
you can't do that soft.
No,
and sometimes it was just noticeably loud. It's like, wow.
I think we need a bigger backyard. If only somebody close to me had almost like a pseudo stage for their backyard and had a big enough backyard to do this.
Are you looking at me now? Or
actually, but the Paul Pape.
Oh yeah, they have a perfect stage.
That's perfect. That's what I was talking about.
Okay.
Yes. Oh, okay. So the Black Squeeze. Y'all have a MySpace page. You know that?
That's awesome.
And it still kind of works.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I imagine Joel made that a long time ago. I haven't looked at it. I don't know. What is it good?
MySpace went down a few years ago, and I think everything got wiped. I don't know. So I think I clicked on it. It took forever to load. First of all, I was shocked that was still in there. So good. I feel like I know who you're going to say this, but it's okay. Who's one designer or performer or teacher or composer, etc., that we should be listening to?
And you feel like you know what I'm going to say?
I figured. I thought it'd be a person we've mentioned multiple times on this podcast already, but I thought you were going to pump up Lewis.
Oh, absolutely, Lewis.
See, that's what I told you.
But no, you're right. Lewis is great if you're into like chamber music, percussion.
Sure. Who isn't? From
a teacher standpoint, I think somebody that's that I have been exposed to this year is Zach Travis, the new director at McCallum. I think he's done fantastic work, and he's an up and comer. He's awesome. He's like 27, and he's all in. He's invested.
Not to be young again.
I know exactly. Right. Yeah, full of energy.
Those are the days,
and stuff like that. So he'd be like one of the teachers. I think. Another percussion teacher that I think is up and coming is Colton Bean at Winston Churchill.
Churchill.
Yeah, and they played at Midwest this year as well.
Yes,
and that's kind of how I kind of knew who he was before then, but not really. But throughout the whole process, he and I texted a bunch and we shared, and it was fun getting to know him. And he's really talented. He's doing really good stuff there.
Yeah,
so he'd be one.
Colton also did not play one of my pieces at Midwest. We were close. It was fine. It was, I think I made like the third to last cut. It's fine. I know he doesn't listen to these anyway, so no, he does. No, I know Colton from college, not because I'm that young, but I was there at the same time he was.
I see.
Doing my second master's, Matt.
Dang.
Yeah.
I have a lot of catching up to do.
You know what? You really do. You don't do enough. Has anyone ever told you that? On Facebook, I've noticed that you have liked Van Dorn Music, blah. K. Wiley Publications, I'll allow it. Sketchbook Podcast, yay. Team Ehlers, I approve. Tap Space, bows with honor. And Innovative Percussion, I'm saluting with respect. So, no love for Montoya.
You know what?
Or Montoya. You know what? I guess I shouldn't be surprised based on your choice of
Do you-
repertoire, or rather, the lack thereof.
Does Montoya Music have a Facebook
No,
page?
that's the thing is I got rid of it because I didn't
I-
like handling it.
I've never seen it. Otherwise,
Well,
of course I would like it.
Of course you would.
And I
Yes.
have played a lot of your music.
Really? Okay. Other than the Highway, which piece of mine have you
The
played?
Rapids.
Oh, that's it? Just those two?
And then you have another The
Canyon?
I've played all three of those.
You played the three tunes?
All the Thes.
Wow. Maybe,
Yeah.
you know what? One day I'll be played by you at something important, not just a normal
I need
concert.
to look at some of your new.
Oh, you know you need to. Hector's played my stuff.
Like what?
Hector played Mayhem,
Okay,
but not he played it at Henry Middle School.
it doesn't count, obviously.
No, it doesn't count. But Hector and I write books together for marching bands, so whatever. We get each other jobs. Just saying. So, Matt, if not band, what else would you be doing?
So my first idea for a profession, as I mentioned earlier, my mom was a teacher, and I was always kind of interested in being a teacher. And so the first thing I wanted to do, like at the end of my middle school career, I was thinking about being a shop teacher, like industrial arts.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I like working with my hands a lot. I think that's why I like drums and percussion. It's very kinesthetic. So yeah, probably still in the education field, probably, but maybe teaching shop class.
Wow.
That's
awesome.
I enjoy that stuff a lot. I also, if I wasn't in education, like even owning a house now, like I thought, like maybe I'd like to be an electrician because I find that stuff
You make a lot of money. You probably make a lot more money and be working a lot less.
just hang my head right now.
Service industry, man. They work 9 to 5, and
I know.
they're never going to be out of work.
Ever.
You're always going to need
it.
plumbers and electricians. Yeah, that would make sense because you say you like renovating your house.
I do.
You and Dave Reyes.
Dave has been
God.
incredibly active doing that.
Right.
We have since we have a 20-month-old daughter.
Oh, congratulations.
Almost 21 months.
Almost legal. There we go. She can almost buy. I was going to say she can almost buy alcohol.
Almost. So close. So close. Yeah. She'll be 2 in April. We have slowed down on the renovations a little bit. The last thing we did was about a year ago during December, we kind of redid our guest bathroom, painted it, put all new hardware on all the cabinets and stuff like that, put a new light fixture in.
Wow.
Stuff like that. But,
well, thank you for that. As one who uses your guest bathroom on occasion.
It is. Yeah, it's my pleasure.
Wow, that it really is. We're going off script now.
Good. This is what I like.
It is. All right, you have to choose.
Okay.
Michael Gilly or Dave Reyes, go.
Reyes.
Oh, wow. Would Reyes say the same? Would he pick you over Gilly?
Absolutely.
But he lives with Gilly right now.
But he used to live with me.
That's true. Did he sleep in a daybed? A futon? Because as we know, Dave is monstrously tall.
Yeah, it was one of those. It basically, it looks, it's kind of like your cabinets over there, and you just pull it out, and Dave hops in, and then you push it back in,
right.
And then in the morning you
wake him up, like,
and that's it.
Rise and shine. Yeah, you wake him up. Wow.
Yeah, so his rent was pretty cheap actually.
Well, he only takes up a small portion of any room that he's in. Yes,
exactly.
But he's also a fairly good teacher, from what I understand, right?
Yeah, Dave I think he teaches like 70 private lessons right now, and 2 6th grade classes, and people call him all the time to try to pick up their will you teach my son or daughter? And he's like, well, I can't. There's only so many. I already teach like 14 hours a day. Yeah, he's fantastic. He's a great teacher.
He's a lot of fun too.
He is a lot of fun.
I hear. Yeah, don't make him mad. No, especially if you drive an automobile with 4 tires. You just don't want to.
True.
You want to mess with him.
Yes, exactly.
Let's get we're gonna get really personal, and this might. I don't want to make you cry.
Okay,
but I'm gonna. What are your thoughts on college football?
I love it. I love the pageantry. I know you're gonna bring up.
Do you have a team?
Of course I do. Of course I do, and they have had a rough 20 years.
It's been ever since they fired Frank Solich, right?
Yeah.
Well, Pelini was he was good for laughs. We're talking about, of course, the Nebraska Cornhuskers.
Go Big Red.
Thank you. Well, they had one good year in the most recent when Ndamukong Suh was there, and they almost beheaded Colt McCoy in the Big 12 championship game. Oh man, he
was crazy.
My God.
I don't know if he was as dirty back then as he once he got to the pros.
He was, I think, once dirty, always dirty, right?
I guess, I don't know, but that always was like sometimes like he didn't get in all this trouble on the field,
right,
and even off the field, but on the field while he was at Nebraska, and then all of a sudden he goes to the Lions, and it's like he's a maniac.
Really, yeah. He didn't get his daily corn intake probably in Michigan.
Well, like, maybe people in Michigan are a little meaner. It's definitely Detroit.
It's the
I
D,
think if
man.
you live in Lincoln, Nebraska, people are pretty friendly.
I would imagine so.
Absolutely.
I would imagine so. So Nebraska's your team of choice.
They are, yes.
Now, do you remember a time when Nebraska was relevant?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like the late 90s, early 2000s, right?
No, mid-90s. Mid-90s. They won
that three in a row, right?
Almost. 94, 95, 97. Oh, I know exactly what you're doing here.
No, I'm not. What do you mean? We're not. I'm just curious.
Okay.
Do you know? Wait. What happened in 1996, Matt?
See, I do. One James Brown, and not the good James Brown.
What's it called? Something. Roll left.
Yes.
I remember. We're talking about the first ever Big 12 championship game.
Oh man!
When you had the two-time defending champion, the Nebraska Cornhuskers, who never threw a pass. They were like the number one ranked team in the North because they did North South, right? Mm-hmm. And then UT was like 7-7 or something. Like it was like you're the best of the South,
right?
And for some reason, I mean, James Brown rolled left on 4th and 1, and they beat the Nebraska Cornhuskers, saved John Malkovich's job for a year.
Yes.
Yeah, that was wild. I remember watching that game. I was shocked.
So was I. I was heartbroken.
Wow. Yeah.
There was like a 5-year stretch from 93, I believe, through 97. Mm-hmm. I think Nebraska lost a total of like 3 games. It was kind of crazy.
And they had this like monstrously long streak of never losing at home, right?
Yes.
And then I think University of Texas is the one that beat that one too, right?
Yeah. When the Big 12, when Nebraska was still in the Big 12, I think they maybe played Texas 10 times or 11. Uh-huh. They either lost to Texas 9 out of 10 times.
Oh my God!
Was
just they just.
Oh man, it was awful.
That's why y'all left.
Possibly
Big 10.
Possibly.
How's it going over there?
Not well. Not well.
I thought this guy was Scott Frost was going to be the guy.
Yeah, so did I, and I still hope he is.
What was the record this year?
I
mean, it wasn't as bad as the year before.
No, but it's pretty similar. I don't know. I think they won 4 games.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, this year I didn't. I paid attention from afar.
Right.
I didn't watch as many games as I probably should have. But
so your daughter, will she be raised a Cornhuskers fan?
Absolutely.
Good.
She already has a little cheerleading outfit.
Oh, get her a football outfit. Come on.
Yeah,
No, I got my daughter a UT cheerleading outfit. But, whatever.
Yeah. Well, I hope
for the gram.
Scott Frost is. He was so amazing at UCF, and he's from Nebraska. His dad is a high school football coach in Nebraska, and he won a national championship at Nebraska. All this stuff,
right?
And so you hope it works out for him.
You want him to be good,
absolutely. There's no guarantees though. That's what's interesting. Even like Tom Herman, who's like Mr. Genius, right?
That's what he says it. Yeah,
he does. Yeah, if you don't believe me, just ask him.
Exactly.
So I just don't, and like Charlie Strong.
Yeah. Like wonderful man.
I know.
Wonderful human being.
And like all the stuff he did at Louisville, you're just like, obviously he's going to be so good here.
Right.
So there's no guarantees ever.
Yeah. No. I like Charlie Strong. I thought he deserved another year, but spoiler alert, he wasn't the right skin color to get another year. That's right. I said it.
There you go. Hot take.
Tom Herman gets a year 4 because he's the right skin color. But he also won like a big bowl game.
And won it very handily.
They beat that rump, as they say.
They
Georgia
did.
But yeah, Tom Herman was supposed to be the second coming of like Mac Brown. Honestly, when you look back at UT football, UT's legacy is just being mediocre. I grew up at a time when they were giving away football tickets to go see UT play like Texas Tech. And so, UT doesn't have a long history of being amazing forever. So anyway, I'm sorry that your Nebraska Cornhuskers we're both in the same boat, kind of.
Yeah.
We're just hoping for...
Nebraska's a little lower than Texas, right? Hopefully we'll see.
Maybe they'll play each other in a bowl game.
Okay, I think recruiting wise, it was like they shot themselves in the foot when they went to the Big Ten.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Because where do you want players from? Texas. Mm-hmm. And if you're never going to play in Texas, like ever, you're not going to get those players. And all the good players from the Big Ten, you know, if you're from Ohio, which they do produce a lot of good players.
Yeah.
You're not going to go to Nebraska.
No, you're going to go to Ohio State or Michigan. Barely.
Exactly.
I mean, Ohio State's getting a lot of good Texas kids. Because Nebraska's not a prime time. I mean, they're a blue blood, but they haven't been a relevant blue blood.
They haven't, yeah.
So you're not going to see them every Saturday night at 7 like you would with Ohio State.
Yeah, and you're not going to pull kids from Ohio State either, or Penn State. Or,
That's right.
You know,
That's right.
Because those kids grow up there and they want to go there. Just like if you grow up in Nebraska, you want to go to Nebraska.
Yeah.
There's just not many people in Nebraska.
Is there more corn than people in Nebraska?
Absolutely.
That's great.
I think that the greater Austin Metroplex has more than Nebraska. Or it's about the same, 1.5 million.
What?
Uh-huh.
And they get as many senators as we do? Oh, God. These people, their electoral college. Let's get into politics now.
Okay,
Matt.
sure.
Did Nebraska and Texas vote the same way? Probably.
Unfortunately.
Oh, hot take here.
Yeah. This is something
we didn't really have to get into politics.
I'll tell you one thing. I took pride in this.
Go for it.
And let me think the correct year. Actually, it would have been 2000.
Oh, that's entirely different.
The 2000
presidential election, George W. Bush versus Al Gore.
Yeah, there was two people in our county that voted third party.
Oh my God.
Me and my father.
Wait. Who was the third party candidate in 2000?
Nader.
God.
But it's like we looked at it like, okay, Nebraska everything's going to go red.
Right.
And if the third party gets 5% popular vote, then they can partake in debates the following election.
Oh.
And so we thought that was the greater use of our vote.
And did they get 5%?
Absolutely not.
Oh, okay. Great. So speaking of college football, what about professional football? Do you have a team?
I do.
Who?
The Chiefs.
All right.
Yes.
Well, I mean, only because I'm tired of talking about the Cowboys. I can only hate on them so much.
Yes.
And the Eagles are fine. Only because they beat the Cowboys. So the Kansas City Chiefs, are they the closest NFL team to Nebraska?
To where I grew up in Nebraska. Yeah, it was about a 3.5 to 4 hour drive. Kind of similar from here to Dallas.
Yes.
Or here to Houston.
Yeah.
So yeah, we would go to one Chiefs game a year, and we'd go to run one Royals game a year.
Did you see Steve Young? Is it in the Chiefs?
Steve Young.
I'm sorry, Joe Montana. Montana.
Hail to the Chief. Yes. Oh my God. I had a poster growing up in my
bedroom. Did you really?
That had Joe Montana and his Chief, and it said "Hail to the Chief."
That's perfect.
Yeah, I did.
Wow. And did Emmitt Smith? No, he went to the Cardinals. That's right.
Yeah.
Wow. So you must be riding high.
Absolutely.
Because Patrick Mahomes is lighting him up.
Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. He won MVP last year. Lamar Jackson's going to win it this year. Royals won the World Series.
I know. Yeah. I am a Lamar Jackson fan, though.
Dude.
I'm a big Ravens fan.
I am
you know
too.
why.
Baltimore?
Well,
Ravens? Wait.
We've talked about
Oh, no.
this. Oh, man, Daniel.
Ravens. Wait, because the Ravens used to be from Indianapolis?
No. I'll just go ahead. I'll save you
God,
here.
This is the worst interview. We may never publish this one.
It's because I grew up with their punter, Sam Cooke.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, you did mention this because I was like, that's similar in my mind. It's similar to Chuck Fisher, who taught Justin Tucker.
I didn't know
kicker
that.
Kicker for the Ravens.
Yeah, part of the Rat Pack, they call themselves. They do actually. Last year, I went to a Ravens game and hung out with Sam afterwards, and Justin Tucker.
Wow.
Yeah, I've known Sam since first grade.
Sam Cooke, Chris Coleman.
Jeez,
yeah, you know everybody.
That's right. Sam played bottom bass in our high school drumline.
That's insane.
He played it for his first 2 years, and then he was so good at football.
And he's a punter?
He is a punter, but he also was like the best athlete in our high school, like my class.
Yeah.
And he played like middle linebacker and all. He's a big dude, but compared to NFL guys, he's not that big. You know, if he was here next to us, you'd be like, oh, he's a pretty big guy. He's probably like 6'4", 6'5", 250.
I'm looking him up now.
Sure.
He's 6'1".
Dang.
He's 37 years young.
That's right.
He went to the University of Nebraska, Lincoln. Yeah.
Correct.
Wow. 2006 NFL draft. When did you graduate high school?
2001. Yeah, so he and I started teaching the same year. He started playing in the NFL.
Who's made more money?
He has a little more money than me.
Wow, does he? Well, he only got drafted in the 6th round. Let's be realistic.
But then I think he was on league minimum for a few years, but then he got a legit contract. He made the Pro Bowl and stuff like that.
Wow. It does say Seward High School in Seward, Nebraska.
There you go.
Oh, played punter, tight end, offensive lineman, and defensive lineman. Oh, and he started a few games as fullback.
Yeah.
And he played basketball, baseball, and soccer. He was the best athlete in the school.
I told you, yeah.
Did you go see him in the 2005 Alamo Bowl? Were you here at the time?
No, I was still up.
You were still
Denton.
up there. Wow, in Denton. Yeah. Wow, so you hang out with Sam Cooke, also the guy who recorded Man in Black, right?
That's right.
Yeah. What's his name? Walk the line guy.
There you go.
So, since you know so many famous people, I don't know if you're going to be able to answer this question, Matt. When have you felt the most starstruck?
Oh,
Other than walking into a Paul Pate party and seeing me.
yes, that's true.
That's true. Ain't no party like a Paul Pate party.
That's probably when I felt the most intimidated, when I saw everybody's like, yeah. and I was like, at that point, I didn't know any of you guys.
Oh, that's messed
I
up.
think I got invited out of like courtesy. And then I walked in like, hey,
Hey.
hi.
Hi, you're
and
Matt.
of course, you all went to college together, so you're like chummy
did.
chum the
That's
whole
right.
time.
And if we didn't go to college, we're Mexican. So Dave and Hector, we get the
There you
snap,
go.
crackle, pop handshake that
Yes.
just like, pow. So anyway, other than that moment, when were you the most starstruck?
I might have to think about this.
What? Why?
Why?
When you met Ellie Manette? Andy Norell?
Yeah, Annie Norell was a good one. So, okay, here's a good Norell story.
Oh, I'm ready.
Yeah, so obviously I love Annie Norell's music, and we've had him in as a guest artist a few times, and we played at P.A.S.I with him in 2012. A really cool project that he did. But the first year that my wife and I started dating, she was going to turn 30, and we started dating.
Women don't turn 30, Matt.
Sorry. Uh-oh.
Yep, I'm not editing that one out. Better stop at the jewelry store on the way home.
So we had started dating in like November or end of November, and just a few weeks in, she was like, hey, this summer I'm turning 30, and my friends and I are going to Europe. You should come with us. And we had only gone on like 2 dates.
Did she know? She's like, I'm going to marry this guy?
I don't know.
So, yeah.
And so I kind of stuttered, and she's like, you can think about it. And I have an older sister, and I called her, and my older sister has a very different life. She has 4 children.
Oh, geez.
And she had her first child when she was like 21. She was young and everything. And so I called her. I'm really close with her. And I called her, and she just goes, Matt, are you stupid? She goes, you don't have any kids. You don't have go to Europe. And it was like the best advice ever.
Sure, of course.
And yeah, so we went to Europe. I forgot how we...
I asked you when you felt the most starstruck.
Oh, yeah.
Andy Norell, like, here's a really cool story.
Oh, that's right. Thank you. I thought you got me. I was just dreaming about my wife.
About your wife, yes,
Yes.
good. Yeah,
Okay,
good save.
So that the semester before I went to Europe, Andy Norell was our guest artist, and he brought his wife Anita, and I was talking with him, and I was like, hey, we're going to be in France this summer, and they were just like, you should stay with us.
What?
Yeah, and so we did, and I was definitely like starstruck, like staying in their house, like waking up the next morning, and he's like cutting fruit and stuff.
Oh my gosh. In a giant bed shaped like a steel drum, I'm assuming?
That's exactly right. Wow. Yeah. No, he has this really great kind of house in
chateau.
Yeah, in Paris.
Oh.
That has like in the middle of it has like an open air place in this building. It's gorgeous. But
wow.
Yeah. So maybe that was it. Yeah, Andy Norell. There you go.
You're welcome. Wow. Matt, how many episodes of this podcast have you listened to?
Probably like 6 or 7.
Oh, only 6 or 7.
How many do you have? No, maybe more.
There's more than that.
Okay, the ones I haven't listened to all of are all the ones where you and Jen dissect.
Oh, yes. Those are, yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's a little nerdy.
Well, especially if I haven't seen the show.
Yeah,
Because
right.
like some of the BOA Grand National, I have never seen those shows.
But
like,
you listened to the state one, right? Because you wanted to hear what we said about you? Is that what this was
I don't
about?
think you said anything about me.
Did you make finals?
No. No, we didn't.
You know what? That wasn't the point of this.
That's quite all
but
right.
You know what? You mentioned the change in an assistant band director. So the change is very obvious. Like the band that we saw at state prelims it was a different McCallum band.
It was, yeah.
And you know, I thought that y'all had a good chance of getting into the bubble spot, you know, being right around there. So if it wasn't this year, it seems like it's only a matter of time before, you know, y'all.
We hope so.
You know, the way you're pushed. Now that they got you out of the way from teaching the marching band,
oh,
am
man.
I right? Jeez.
No, you are right. Yes. I mean, actually, I had told them at the end of two seasons ago, I was like, I can't do this anymore. I was like, I cannot, because it's too much. Yeah. It was too much. Like, I would come home in October and Katie'd be like, oh, it must be October. Matt's upset. You know? And it wasn't set up correctly or right. Sure. Because I would teach drums all day and during the class periods. And so I wouldn't have this rapport with all the wind players. Mm-hmm. And then I would be up on the tower and rehearsal styles are different and expectations. And so I was always the bad guy or whatever, you know.
You're a really nice guy, man.
Well, I was. And I was just like, and no more.
Right.
And we just got kind of lucky because our school, we offer so many kind of music related courses, like 2 steel bands, a jazz band. And then our other assistant, Jeff Rudy, teaches some music theory courses, 3 of them. Our numbers are big, even though our band numbers are like average, like about 160. But the number of students that we teach is actually really large.
Right.
So we had enough to get a 4th director.
A 4th director at a 5A school in Austin Independent School District.
Yes.
And all the Pflugerville schools have 3 directors, right?
Yeah.
Hendrickson might have 4, but...
Yeah.
So it's a big deal for a school, a band big. Of your size to have 4 band directors.
It is, yeah. And it's solely because we teach all those other things. I know like some high school band directors, it's like, oh, you teach a class period and then you have like, I observe the second band. Or you're like team, like pretty much we teach all day.
Yeah.
And because of these extra courses, for better or worse. Wow,
no, that meant that. Yes. To bring that all around, yes, the band was much better this year. I noticed.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
It was fun.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
Sure. What episode's your favorite so far that you've listened to?
Okay. I think that I enjoyed the Mike Bishop one a lot. I don't know Mike at all.
You never hung out with him while he was here?
Never. Yeah. Oh. See, I was pretty young. I don't know when he moved. But I wasn't quite in the scene. You hadn't invited me over yet.
Why is it me? I'm not the ringleader.
Yeah. I didn't know Paul that well.
Oh, see, it's Paul. Once you get in good with Paul, you're in the crew. Paul co-signs for someone and they're in. That's how it works.
But I had heard a lot about him. I obviously was a huge fan of all of his work at Cedar Park. Always, I thought the front ensemble was always fantastic, and I would try to steal stuff from them all the time. And then, of course, I loved Paul's because Paul and I were really close, and it's fun. Yeah. You know,
which episode's the worst?
The worst episode.
You don't have to. So you don't just teach percussion. Let me rephrase that. You don't just teach like concert percussion or marching percussion. You have the steel drums. You have the Brazilian, the samba. You're very extremely well-rounded program at McCallum, and I'm assuming that trickles down to Lamar, the middle school, in some capacity, right? Based on the instruments and stuff like that. Yeah. So I'm going to ask a series of questions that you can just take. So I know the answer to this, but why is that important? Because do you think we as percussionists today focus too much on marching band drumline or indoor marching drumline or the all-state audition process? You know, are we spending too much time on solo and ensemble and teaching to the test? Because, you know, so many people like to go, we don't teach to the test in band. It's like, oh, you absolutely do teach to a test. You pick 3 tunes and you rehearse them for 6 months. And then when, you work on your auditions for all-state, all-region band, that's how you figure out, quote unquote, who's the best player in the state. It's whoever can, play back a piece by rote the best. So at a program like McCallum, it's not just this, it's so many things. So I asked you like 5 different questions. So let's talk about that.
Sure. I think it's outside of music even, it's great for the kids to see other cultures and learn to respect other cultures and expose them to different styles of music and things like that. And within music's all relative. I think the more you play, the better you're going to get. Yeah. Even if you're playing this style, it's going to transfer this style. and it's fun. Yeah, I don't know how else to say it. It's just fun. It's great for the kids. Like when we do the samba stuff, the rehearsal style is completely different, and the kids love it. And the learning style is different. We only rehearse samba once a week after school, and I pretty much teach everything by rote. But because we rehearse once a week, usually most of the time I'll hand out music afterwards. Be like, here's your parts that you learned today. Please look at this over this next week. We're going to come back next week and we need to add to it. So all that stuff, I think it's good for them to learn many different ways. In steel band, we usually try to do a few rote tunes because that's how you learn in Trinidad.
Sure. And I was going to say that's Brazilian music, like the samba stuff. I mean, a lot of it's passed on orally. So rote teaching, right?
Rote teaching.
So you're giving the music later, but I mean, they're picking it up and they're playing the rhythms and they're learning how it works together and they learn the instrument. They're not sitting in a private lesson going, now we're going to pick up this instrument and this is the rhythm and it's called this. They're just learning. So you're teaching them in the same styles that they would learn in their native cultures. And
trying to. I also think that anytime you learn by rote, it forces your ears to open up, which I always notice, like with drum set players, students that I have, the ones that learn to play drum set by ear before they learn to read it, they usually get better sounds. And so I do think it's important because, like, sometimes if I'm demonstrating something to a student, I'll just be like, no, you have to sound like I do. You can't just play like, and then we don't always talk about sound with percussionists as much,
sure.
But of course we should. And I think the best teachers and the best players do.
Right.
But learning by rote forces you to use your ears and like try to mimic sound.
You trying to say that learning by rote's not a bad thing, Matt?
I love learning by rote. Like some of the best, like, the Black Squeeze, learned by rote.
Oh my!
And
y'all are both classically trained musicians.
We both had music degrees. Yeah, exactly right. And a lot of the best musicians I played with are non-readers, learned by rote. When I was in Trinidad, they taught me everything by ear.
Of course,
fantastic players.
Sure,
like great. I learned when I learned this. I played in two bands. The second band. The girl that taught me the tune was a junior in high school. It was great. It was fun.
Sure, yeah.
And her name is Shannon, and she came in. Rehearsal started at they said be there at 9 p.m. We usually started by 10. That type of deal.
Yeah.
Very island time.
Right.
But she would meet me there at 6 and show me some stuff, and then I'd stay there and practice. And then go through rehearsal with them and learn the chart. Wow,
that's fun. So at McCallum, do you do the standard solo and ensemble contest, or do you do your own kind of like chamber American Idol thing that has become so popular around the city and then put on a percussion extravaganza concert?
Okay. We still do the UIL solo and ensemble. For what we do, it works for us, and I. Especially as Dr. Zader's updating the PML for percussion, I think there's plenty of good options on there. And the way I look at it, so I have all my kids play, for the most part, a mallet and a snare.
Sure.
We might have some variances like a timpani as they get older or multi-percussion, but the standard is kind of that. So every kid gets that, and I try to organize myself to literally the day after, I guess usually phase 2 area audition, or not area, phase 2 region band auditions are on a Saturday.
Yeah.
That Monday I want to hand out solos.
Gotcha.
That way they can do them in lessons that week.
Yeah.
Because like if they do, I forget how you called it, the solo idol or something like that.
I don't know.
Most of those are in late April or May, but region UIL solo ensemble was February 8th this year.
It's right after.
Yeah. So I actually try to pick more condensed solos, much shorter, maybe on the easier side, but be realistic about what this kid can actually learn.
Sure, yeah.
And then hopefully they prepare it well and they go to state, and then they learn a whole new one for state.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. So I guess we kind of take the approach of learning 2 solos, which might not be as hard as what this other student learned 1 solo.
Right.
Just learning more, the act of going through learning more music. We kind of value that a lot.
Sure.
So that's kind of my take on it. Usually, it's hard for kids in Texas. You have to memorize, in order to go to state. So if you're playing a snare solo, usually you don't memorize it.
Right, because you don't have to look down at the keys.
Yeah, and so most of my students only take a snare solo. Every now and again, a kid overachiever will take 2 solos to state.
Right.
But I try to get a lot of kids to go on to state. I also think it helps organize their lessons for them. And there's no like spinning your wheels when you're showing up to your lessons.
Yeah.
So we do that. And so that's like February 8th. We have our percussion extravaganza. It's we call it our night of percussion with a K.
Because you're the McCallum Knights.
That's correct, McCallum Knights. And it's always a benefit concert for local charity.
New one every year or what?
New one every year.
Okay,
yeah.
Cool. You have one picked out for this year?
I don't. Do you have a suggestion?
I always suggest Parkinson's because that's what my dad had.
Oh,
but I don't know.
Is there like a local chapter?
I don't know. I just when my dad died, we just said in lieu of flowers, please make a donation to the Michael J. Fox thing because that's the national one.
See.
So, but that's just the one that I would say.
Last year we did it for CASA of Travis County.
I was going to say that one's the other one that I think about.
Joe's wife Kara works for.
Yeah, Joe Hobbs, by the way. Yes.
I do.
You know what? This is close to both of us. ASPCA.
ASP.
Isn't that the pet one, the Austin Pets one?
Oh, so we've done Austin Pets Alive.
Oh, okay, yeah.
At the concert, that's one of my favorite moments of our percussion concerts. I tried to get a dog adopted at the concert.
Really?
On stage, the dog was...
That's fantastic. It's called the American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
That'd be a good one.
But they have one there with Pflugerville. It's the Austin Humane Society is what it is. And there's a Pflugerville, Central Texas SPCA. So anyway, those will be the ones because we're animal folk.
Yeah. Okay, so my first year teaching, one of my favorite students, he actually still plays drum set here in town. He's a great player, Josh Halpern.
Okay.
And he came up to me and said, "Hey, Mr. Ehlers, why don't we do anything for charity?" And I did not have an answer for him. Typical bands always need money because we're always, there's so much we have to do, but it's important to teach kids to give back to community and stuff like that. And so I said, well, why don't we do this percussion concert for charity? And they had that was my first year. Was the first year they ever did a percussion concert.
Sure.
It was almost a train wreck. We made it. I remember I called my mother the night before because the dress rehearsal was awful and kids were upset and all that. And I was like, "Mom, I don't know if I can do this." But it all was good. It was all good.
And then your mom goes, "Well, Matt, we're going to find out how good of a teacher you really
are." That's
right?
exactly right. Yes. So it was student inspired, and I think so far we've raised like over $10,000.
Wow.
It's a cool event. We take donations, but also I try to get a lot of things. I email a bunch of percussion companies and they donate things and we have a raffle for them.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
And so the kids might get like a pad or some mallets, stuff like that.
No, that's awesome.
So that is at the end that's like the last Friday of February.
The percussion extravaganza?
Yes.
Oh, geez, that's early.
Yes, because after that, then we got to go UIL band.
Correct.
Mode, right?
Yeah.
So they have like a month to go with the bands and do their thing. Now, when I was teaching a band, that was hard for me to coordinate all this, but
now you're on easy street, man. You got none but time.
Yeah, that's right. So in lessons, they'll spend like 1 or 2 lessons if they're struggling with the percussion ensemble part. Be like, hit this with them, and then after that, we go into drumline audition mode, and they can do a few lessons on that stuff. And then at the end of the year, they go back to state solo ensemble. So I try to keep their private lessons forward moving all the time.
Your snare drum line.
Okay.
How do they hold their sticks?
I believe the technique is titled matched grip.
I see. All right. How long have you been doing that?
McCallum played match grip before I got there, and I continued that tradition.
Oh, so it's not your fault, is what you're saying.
I don't know whose fault it is, but yes, we play matched grip.
I understand. Some everyone's got their own favorites on terms of hand grip. So let's talk about your life as a Texas transplant.
Okay,
I would like your thoughts on the following things: Torchy's Tacos.
Torchy's Tacos, I think it's great. It's fine. I think that you have a bias because it's a different category.
You're calling me out here?
Yes, I am.
I hate this episode, man.
Yeah, you are correct that it is. If you want traditional tacos, it's not as good.
It's a fusion place.
Yeah, so I don't think it's a fair comparison. In my humble opinion,
you're look, Velvet Taco, this place, they're fusion tacos, and I'm down with fusion. Like I'm down, like my thumbs down.
Yeah,
I would pick Taco Deli over Torchy's, but
Oh, interesting. Okay.
mainly because it seems to be a little closer to more just traditional. But whatever.
Yeah.
So this is about you, not me.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Chewy's.
Chewy's is okay. Yeah, same reason. Like you, it's the exact same thing. It's
What?
like they're not claiming to be Mexican food.
They're claiming to be Tex-Mex.
Kind of, and I
not
think
even-
it's New Mexican Tex-Mex.
Well, I've got El Paso roots.
Okay.
So they're very southwestern, New Mexican.
Yes.
type. I don't like Chewy's. I'm sorry.
That's quite all right. I'm not offended. They have good tortillas.
I'll take your word for it. Taco Cabana.
Okay.
Oh, my God.
I mean, if you're going there at like 2 a.m. and you've been
sure.
drinking, yeah,
What?
it's fine.
Except for this one around my house. This one's awful. By the way.
Really?
On Palmer and Mopac, I'm always dissatisfied, no matter what time of day it is there. So
When I lived in Denton, we went there a lot.
it's a good place. It's a good
Yeah.
place. Whataburger.
It's good. I like it. Yeah, it's good.
Mighty Fine Burgers.
Not as good as Whataburger.
Whoa, that's a hot take
Is
right
it?
there.
Is it?
Yikes. P. Terry's.
I would say that's probably my favorite.
P.
burger.
Terry's?
Yeah.
It is fantastic.
Yeah, I
just
think
had
it's
it today.
my favorite.
I had it today. Get the fries
been-
crispy, though.
Oh yeah, I agree. And then also I like wheat buns. So you can get on a wheat bun, and I think that's
You're so Austin.
no. I guess.
I guess I'm assuming. I'd like a gluten-free
It
wheat
is.
bun.
No, I mean I grew up on wheat bread. That's what my parents eat.
Corn and wheat. That's all you ate.
That's right.
That's right.
That's 100% all. So yeah, I think P. Terry's is my favorite burger, like fast food burger.
Oh, yeah. Rudy's Barbecue.
Not a fan. Yeah, I think maybe it's because I live in Austin. There's like way better barbecue everywhere.
There is. What's your favorite barbecue place?
Well, the best barbecue I've ever had is Franklin's.
I agreed. That would be the next question. So
Okay, that's the best. The one that I frequent most is Style Switch.
Over there on Lamar.
Lamar.
right?
It's because I pass it on my way home.
It's by my bank. The
yeah.
Greater Texas Federal Credit Union.
There you go.
I also say it's across the street from where my wife works.
Uh-oh.
But she does not work there. I always we go to the bank and go, hey, you have a shift today? Yeah, I know. Get a wife who will take those jokes. So
Yes.
Do you like Salt Lick Barbecue?
Yeah, I think Salt Lick's okay. The atmosphere is great. That's one of my parents' favorite things, going to the original one.
The OG.
And kind of spending some time there. I really like the barbecue sauce, but I know like
I love that sauce.
the spicy one especially.
Their
I think it's
barbecue
great.
sauces are the bomb.
Yeah, but I guess technically, if you're a barbecue purist,
That is correct.
Yeah, you're not supposed to put sauce on it if it's good enough, right?
It's good enough. Well, it's kind of like a steak. You shouldn't put any steak sauce if it's a well-cooked steak.
I agree with you. Yeah,
right there.
But I do like their sauce.
Yes. Pluckers.
Plucker's good.
Now, I never get to ask this question to anybody but you.
Okay.
When are we going to go to the Catfish Parlor?
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. I don't know. Tell me when. I've only been once because I can only convince my wife to go once.
I hate seafood, but I love catfish.
That's
I don't know. It's the
awesome.
weirdest thing. But yeah, the Catfish Parlor, man. Oh, my God. Oh, God. All right. So
Uh-oh.
I'm asking you this question. Let me give some context here.
Sure.
I am a product of Austin ISD. Williams Wildcats, Betachek Bobcats, Crockett High School. This is the Crockett. I graduated in '96. It was not considered, nor do I think it is now. But some people, I'm not going to say what kind of people, they consider it an inner city school, which is stupid. They just call it that because there's brown people there. But let me ask this question of you: how many other Austin ISD middle schools or high schools do you know of that have performed at the Midwest Clinic? Because I think Keeling did, right? Keeling did a number of years ago.
Keeling did. Bailey has.
Bailey, that's
back
right.
when Diane Goritsky was there.
Yeah, that's right.
Obviously Lamar.
And that's where I kind of stopped.
I guess.
Because
maybe.
it has Hill Country.
Oh, no. Clint Small when Paulette Rainey. Yes.
That's right. But Hill Country's Westlake. Did they ever go? Hill Country or West Ridge? Is that the one it was called?
I think so.
Or Westview? I'm not sure.
I know one of their orchestras went, or there's at one point.
Right. So my question to this, and I'm just curious, do you find that there may be different types of challenges teaching in the quote unquote city versus maybe teaching in the suburbs, right? So Hill Country, West Ridge, those are Westlake. The Leander bands are obviously Leander ISD, Round Rock ISD, Pflugerville ISD. Clint Small feeds James Bowie, but Clint Small's, it's west, it's southwest Austin. They're basically like Oak Hill, So they're in a way a suburb, but not really. I'm curious because McCallum is right off of, it's in between Lamar and Burnet, right? Like
Yes.
you can literally pass McCallum to cut between Lamar and Burnet.
You can.
And it's an interesting area. If you grew up in Austin, you knew what it used to be like, and now it's experiencing gentrification, and there's all these things that are going on. But I think McCallum is a nice, probably normal middle class boiling pot high school, right?
Yeah, it's changed a lot since I've been there over the past 14 years. As far as, I guess when I started, I think we were at 44% free and reduced lunch.
Wow.
And now we're at like 22%.
What's the threshold for Title I? What do they?
I don't know.
But you're not.
Well, I think we were at one point.
You were,
but we're not anymore.
Right.
Just that whole area around McCallum has changed dramatically, and the price.
Oh my God, it's insane.
I kicked myself that I didn't buy a house right when I moved here.
Right.
I was like, what do you?
Everyone is going like, why didn't I? Because you didn't think you wanted to live in that area.
I just wasn't sure. Yeah, I was 23 and.
You would have lived close to your favorite barbecue place.
I know exactly.
So there are differences.
Yeah.
AISD. There's nothing wrong with Austin. The school district, but it just seems like the things that are happening when people talk about Austin, they're not talking about Austin.
Right.
They're talking about north suburbs of it. So you haven't taught anywhere but McCallum, so you can't speak from personal experience. But you do, as you've talked to Paul, Hector. There's people who teach at all those schools. What are some of the challenges that maybe you've encountered? And obviously overcome so that y'all can be one of a small handful of Austin area middle schools or high schools that have played at Midwest and P.A.S.I.C and stuff like that.
So I think one of the challenges is that, one of them is just funding. Being in a large school district, your funds get dispersed a lot more. You can't funnel them to certain things. So that and even like looking at, and I think it's great. Sometimes as a band director, it kind of is our Achilles heel here in Austin, is that like my school offers orchestra, offers classical guitar.
Oh.
Like we have 140 kids in orchestra. We have another 120 in classical guitar.
Because McCallum is the Fine Arts Academy for AISD. Is it the only one, or do they have another one?
It's the only high school, yeah.
Gotcha.
And you can't tell me out of those 250 kids that we wouldn't have another 100 that would do band, maybe more, probably more.
Well, if you look at Leander ISD, currently they do not offer orchestra.
Yeah, or classical guitar.
And so you can do band or choir, basically.
Yeah, right? And so I think that helps with numbers.
Yeah.
It also helps with funds. You don't have to fund those programs and those teacher units and all that stuff. And so you just have more money for the band, I guess.
Yeah.
So I think that's one way. That's a struggle.
Yeah, for sure.
And, another way, same lines, I think some of our students just have different problems. Like I've taught several kids that are homeless.
Wow.
Yeah. And, most recently, I guess 2 years ago was the last one, and like the kid oftentimes just bounced around from band family to band family. Just different things like that.
Sure.
Or even as I mentioned earlier, like I had that bass drummer that I taught him by tapping on his shoulders.
Yeah.
And he, I don't think that happens as much maybe. And our middle school feeders, it's not always direct in Austin. It's kind of interesting, like it's like the feeders might be split, or they could go to LASA, or kids will come to McCallum. So you don't always know. Like our McCallum's direct feeders are Keeling and Lamar, but Keeling is also like the sister program of LASA. So I think last year we got like 5 kids from there.
Because Keeling is a magnet school.
Maybe 4.
It's not like an academy. It's a
magnet. So the difference, the big difference between magnet and academy is magnet gets school transportation,
right,
and they get a few extra funds.
Yeah,
academy gets neither.
Right. If you decide to go there, you're on your own.
You're on your own, exactly.
And just for those that aren't familiar, LASA is the language, arithmetic, science, and art.
Yeah, something.
Maybe. Is arts the last A?
I don't know.
They merged the liberal arts academy that used to be at Johnson High School, which is a different name now.
It is.
Eastside Memorial, right?
Yeah.
And then LBJ used to be the Math and Science Academy, and they basically just merged them. And that's a whole nother story because now they're splitting the school into like normal LBJ high school.
They are.
And then Lhasa High School.
And I don't exactly know how that's going to work.
Well, I'm going to try and get Don Haynes on here to hear how, because I think he said there's like separate football teams, like 2 separate schools.
I don't know how that's going to work.
Because if you've been to that school, it's not a big school.
No. And if you look at like their band numbers, I think, 95% of them are Lhasa.
Yes.
And then their football kids.
Oh.
I think it's like the flip.
Yeah, it's going to
So it's
flip
like,
around.
is those Lhasa kids really going to have a football team?
Right. Let me ask you this question.
Sure.
I know this is still have to do AISD.
Yes.
I pose this question to some of the nerds.
Yeah.
There's a nerd Slack that I'm with, and LBJ is probably, they're great, a higher percentage of minorities there, specifically African American, right? I believe at LBJ.
Yes.
If they do this split, which the way they say, so LBJ High School and Lhasa High School, wouldn't it make sense to make LBJ like an HBCU high school band? Very show style band.
Oh, or like Reagan here.
Yeah, like Reagan.
Yeah.
Well, Reagan's name is different. Do you know
It is. It's Northwest. Northeast.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah. Because I think John T. Reagan is not a good Reagan or something.
Yes.
Something
Yeah. So it's Northeast High School. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Like a SWAC style.
SWAC? Oh,
Southwestern Athletic Conference.
Right. So
Yeah.
like Grambling, Prairie View,
Exactly.
Texas Southern. Yeah, it just because if that's the way the band's going to go,
Yes.
and, you want to cater to the community and the demographic, and there's a lot of programs that the demographics shift and the programs shift with them and go like that. But it would be awesome to have that kind of another group of that representation to go along with the school formerly known as Reagan Northeast. Is that what it's called?
Northeast.
Yes. Yeah. No, it was just a question because I'm thinking because that's
that makes sense to me.
That's how it might end up anyway. Just the way it goes.
I'll tell you, the McCallum students love the Northeast band.
I bet.
They're called the Soul Raiders, and they all have these headbands.
Because they used to be the Reagan Raiders.
Yes,
so
that's right.
Gotcha.
And all of our kids bought their headbands.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so when we play them, they all wear the Soul Raider headband.
That's cool.
Yeah, they're like their biggest fans because it's fun.
It is insanely fun.
Yeah, it is. Exactly. It's insanely fun. That's all.
Well, there was and this is a whole nother discussion about how to, someone was saying, now that we're going to a pilot program of military doing their own UIL track, state marching contest,
Right.
and then open class, I think it's what they're calling it. Somebody said, I think it was like on Tyler Salmons' thing, why isn't there a show style band track? Because, I mean the traditional marching band that we know, it's a different style than show band. But there's so different things that go into teaching that style and projecting it. And so many of us just so flippantly go like, that's just too loud and too crass. And all they're doing is dancing on the field. Neither of the bands could do either each other's shows because they're so crazy. So it seems like there should be like a track for that also. But I don't know, for the Northeast, for the potential LBJs, for the programs in the Dallas, Houston area that are in the SWAC style, as you call it. I don't know what the point of this question was. Oh, Austin. So there's it's a city, and Austin's not the only one like this. Dallas ISD, Houston ISD, San Antonio ISD. There are so many other things that go on. So yeah, in the area around McCallum, no one would call it bad. It's not a bad area. It's changing because property value, all the fancy restaurants are putting up there, like the quirky things that are happening. But I can understand. You're right. When you have all those programs to fund, whereas a Leander band's like, well, we got to fund the band and the choir. And there's not be simplifying it. And I'm sure I'll get emails or something. There's probably more that goes into Leander ISD. But they also have 6 high schools? Yeah. And Austin has,
I think 11 or 12
currently.
Yeah.
So they're funding that, and they have a greater geographic area. And
I'm sure. That's just what came to my mind.
But that makes sense.
And I also think like McCallum was built in 1954. Yeah. Like we have some maintenance issues.
Sure.
And so a lot of money has to go towards that stuff too, and energy. Is it 54? No, 50. Are you looking it up now?
Well, I was actually going to look up to see what the oldest Leander High School was.
Oh, I see.
And it's pretty old. Well, 83.
83.
Yeah. So not nearly as old as McCallum High School.
McCallum and Travis were built the same year.
Yes.
Might have been 56.
53. Oh, 53.
Okay.
To relieve growth in North and Northwest Austin, because McCallum at the time was considered North.
It was on, Koenig Lane was like Koenig Farms.
Oh,
it was a farm. Yeah.
I remember my dad used to work up here off of Cameron Road, and it seemed like it took forever. And there was there's like one highway that took you out there, and now you keep going and you're still in Austin.
Like our house was out in the boonies when it was built. It was built in 58.
Oh, wow.
And it was it's like way out there.
Right. So you live in Austin, and you actually live down the street from me.
I do, yeah.
In between here and Chinatown.
That's
what
right.
they call it. That's what the sign says. Don't send me angry emails. It's more like Asian town though, because they have Vietnamese food there. Like it's not just Chinese.
No, it's not.
What's the most overrated thing about Austin?
You know what? I would have to say UT football.
Bravo, sir. That's.
I think it's
really good.
I think that's what I would say.
Wow.
Because I love Austin.
I do.
I've been to a handful of UT games. I've tailgated. Mm-hmm. It's all overrated, man.
Wow.
Like you could go to LSU and have a way better experience. It's just like, it's a little white collar for me.
Yeah.
Not ruckus enough. Not enough passion. Not enough corn.
Yeah.
Definitely not enough corn. Yeah, I think that's okay.
Wow, that is. I cannot argue with that. Okay. What's the most underrated thing about the Austin area?
Okay, the most underrated thing. Well, I would say, as you make your way out to Lake Travis, just how beautiful the hill country is. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And when I moved down here, I actually didn't know that Texas could look like that, because like living in the DFW area for 5 years during college. I was like, it's okay.
Sure.
I applied for some jobs like in Colorado and stuff. I was like, I love Colorado.
Yeah.
And then I came down here and I was like, oh, Austin or Texas can be beautiful. This is gorgeous.
This is why everyone wants to move here.
Yeah, I guess
Stop moving here.
So that would be the underrated thing, I guess.
That's awesome. Yeah. Matt, do you have a life's motto?
White claw, no law.
You are white.
Okay.
Yes. Alicia Villanueva is like probably fist pumping right now.
Yeah,
bro.
Yeah. She's awesome, by the way.
No, she's not.
I have enjoyed getting to know her and working with her.
Well, you must not have gotten to know her well enough yet.
Apparently. Okay, life motto. Yeah, so maybe I guess this is like our family motto, and it's whatever you are, be a good one. And it's Abraham Lincoln said it, and we have it on our, like, as you walk out our house, on our door.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's it.
Really? That's a good one. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, I mean, you didn't take nearly as long as the way some people actually do.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Whatever you are, be a good one.
Yeah. You know what else Abraham Lincoln once said?
Let's hear it.
If you're a racist, I will attack you with the North.
Okay.
He didn't say that. Michael Scott said that. Abraham Lincoln once
Perfect.
said. And those are the principles that I carry with me in the workplace. So for the folks listening to us at home, in their cars, in their bathtubs, in the subway, walking their dogs, at the gym, typing up invoices, waiting for results at a marching band contest, or guarding a bathroom during standardized testing, please describe in excruciating detail what shoes you are currently wearing.
Okay. I might need your help on this.
Oh, I'm not taking your shoes off for you.
No, you don't have to take them off. I was going to show you.
Okay.
So
I can't see them.
Oh, maybe I will take.
You might need to take them off.
These are effectively known as my grown-up shoes.
Oh, okay.
Because my wife said, Matt, you can't wear Vans all the time. You got to look.
I disagree with that.
Me too. But yeah,
I think Jeremy Spicer would disagree with you also.
These are the shoes. They're black. Mm-hmm. I don't think they're probably not up to your quality.
It doesn't mean anything.
It probably does. I can tell your judging eyes. Yeah, so they're black.
They are.
Whatever.
Do you know what style shoe they are?
I don't.
They're a chukka boot.
Chukka boot.
CHUKKA. I may be mispronouncing that word, but it's a chukka boot or a shuka. I don't know. Someone will correct me on that.
Yeah.
One. Yeah, it's like almost wearing like a mid high top boot.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what you have. It's black stitching. All right, it looks like leather with some suede
on the back, the very back.
Is that nubuck or suede? Do you know?
I have no idea. Well, how do you find this stuff out?
That's probably nubuck. What brand is this?
It's Arizona brand.
So. Yeah, it's nubuck, I'm sure.
Okay.
Nubuck is
not up to your par.
No, I have plenty of shoes that have nubuck on it. Nubuck is like the McDowell's compared to McDonald's,
yes.
right?
Yeah.
It's like
the black squeeze.
Yeah, the black squeeze to the black keys. Yes. Rope laces, all right.
Yeah.
So all black with a dark brown gum, gum. Yeah, rubber outsole.
And then whatever that is there, just different.
Yeah, it's your standard chukka boot midsole.
There you go.
Yeah, it's an ankle high leather boot.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm wearing in my adult shoes because I did teach today and I tried to look like an adult.
Does it make you teach better?
Well, the kids notice it immediately.
Oh, they step it up?
They say, hey, nice shoes.
Oh.
And I said, yeah, my wife told me how to look like an adult. And they go, you look serious.
Right.
So, yeah, I think they're taking it more serious. And I told them I was doing this today. And they said, well, good thing you got the shoes
That's
on.
true. Oh, they know about the podcast?
Yeah.
You told them because I asked about the shoes, huh?
Yes.
Oh,
and
my
when they just go, yeah. And I said, but I also have my lucky socks on.
Do you? What, let's talk about, you'll be the first person to ever talk about their socks.
Oh. Yeah, these are my lucky socks. Look at this.
They have a dog on them.
Yeah, but you know that dog. Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes. I got those socks for Father's Day.
Were you a father of a human child yet?
Okay, I was.
Oh, okay.
Katie actually, the socks were supposed to have both Lily, our daughter, and Riley, our dog, on them. And for something happened, and they only had Riley,
which is fine.
And so last Father's Day, that's what I got. And as you know, we had Riley suffered from cancer, and we had to put her down in August.
Right. Yeah.
And it was devastating, man.
Yeah, of course.
I grew up on a farm, and we had farm dogs.
Right.
Probably 8 of them. I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
You know, like things happen to them, but I had never had an inside dog until Riley.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, it's hard.
I can only imagine.
So these quickly became my lucky socks.
Sure.
And I wore them for every marching band contest.
I was going to say, did you wear them to the Dripping Springs Drumline contest?
Every band contest.
Oh.
The only one I felt like they didn't perform was state.
Maybe somebody else was wearing luckier socks.
I suppose, I guess. Yeah. They were my lucky socks. And the kids knew it. They're like, "Get your socks on." I'm like, "Yeah, check it out."
It's the hype.
Yeah. So it's fun.
That's cool. Wow. That's
I
awesome.
wore them today because as I texted you, I was like, I'm a little nervous.
I don't know why you'd be nervous. We're just two people talking with microphones in front.
Right.
And dozens of people are going to listen to your episode.
Exactly.
Colton Bean is going to listen to your episode and then text both of us at some point about it.
Good. Props, Colton.
Yeah. Yes. We'll give it up for Colton. What advice would you offer to your 18-year-old self, Matt? Oh, this was, okay. All right.
Yeah, I'm trying.
You never thought about it? Like, God, if I can go back in time, other than if I could buy a house next to McCallum High School.
I thought that thought many times. Not even next to McCallum, but in the Miller development.
Yes. Oh my God. Yeah.
I actually looked at that when I first moved here, and I was like, "Oh, these houses are too close. There's not enough yard. Blah blah blah." And now I go there. We go there for the farmers market on Sundays.
Humble brag.
And I'm just like, "Is that a brag? Going to the farmers market?" Okay.
We'll say it is.
Okay. We don't buy anything though.
Oh God.
But I'm just like, this place is amazing. Okay. Anyway, something that advice I would give my 18-year-old self. This is straight from Hamilton. Talk less, listen more. Yeah, probably that. Just be more aware and just listen a lot more. I will say, and I think this happens to like not too many teachers, and especially like me not growing up here in Texas. You know, I knew that Texas band was good and stuff like that, but I didn't know how good. And I definitely thought, like, when I first started teaching, I'm like, oh, we're going to be great. We're going to do all this stuff. And I quickly realized that the people I was surrounded by were amazing. And just like in all of them. And it's like, it's hard to be good.
Yeah.
It's real hard. And the people that are really doing it and teaching really well, I mean, they're really amazing people, teachers, all that stuff. So listen to them and study them, and yeah, talk less, listen more. We went to Hamilton and Chicago.
I know.
So it's kind of,
yes, I saw that. You don't update your social media much. This was hard to do because you rarely, unless you're Lewis or Cliff or Greg Simon, you really don't post much about anybody or anything.
Not a lot.
No, you get tagged by your wife.
I do.
Or if you're posting other composers' music other than people that are in this house. But, you know, whatever. It's fine. You know,
yes.
I get it. It's okay. You're not the first friend of mine that hasn't played my music at a conference or clinic or anything like that. It's fine though. So
sounds fine.
I'm not bitter. Hey, so what's next for Matt Ehlers?
What is next? Well, we might do some really exciting traveling this summer with my sister. My sister's turning 40.
Oh.
And her and her husband, who my wife and them we're all real close. And we're talking about doing like a Europe trip together or something.
Oh, geez. Go stay at Andy Norell's house again?
I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't think we're gonna go to Paris. We were talking about some stuff like that. Yeah, so that's exciting. The spring semester, we just got back in the swing of things, hand out new ensembles, stuff like that.
Really?
And
anything by me? You're the only one that I bust on this one so far for not doing my music.
Well, we're not playing at a major festival this semester.
Aren't you playing at Carnegie Hall?
Yeah, I don't pick that rep.
Oh, are you conducting?
Probably.
Oh, do you get to pick the piece you conduct?
Well, okay.
I
don't know if I do.
Oh,
I don't know.
Is Carol going to listen to this podcast? Probably not.
I can make her.
You can just go to this spot specifically.
Yes.
Make Matt conduct one of my pieces.
Sure.
At Carnegie Hall.
Yeah.
Because I haven't gotten a Carnegie Hall performance yet.
Oh.
I've gotten Lincoln Center. I mean, Avery Fisher.
Okay. I
haven't made the big.
I don't think we have the program completely picked, so I will bring this up. I promise you I will.
Oh my God. Well, okay.
Yeah.
You've heard it here. We're going to find out in following episodes. And we go, so we're going to come back to you and we go.
Now, the Carnegie Hall program is really Carol's baby.
Sure.
But
are you going to do another samba piece? You're going to samba through the streets of New York?
I wish. No, this is more formal.
Oh, this is,
I guess, or what you think of when you think of concert band or wind ensemble or whatever.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Well, even though that doesn't always fit me the best.
Sure.
Yeah.
Are you gonna make your Carnegie Hall debut playing bass drum on anybody's pieces?
I wish.
Oh
No.
my God.
No, it's so when we do Carnegie, it's definitely like for the entire program. So we do a mass band. It's about I think we're about 140 piece wind ensemble. Yeah.
Cool.
And so we have 30 percussionists. And
well, guess who writes a lot of percussion parts in their music?
Which is good. And so we'll have enough players to cover. I won't have to cover a bass drum part. Yeah. And we usually like end up keeping one of the wind ensembles pieces from UIL, one of the symphonic bands, and it'll be like, okay, this section right here is really technical. This is gonna be wind ensemble players only stuff, but it's a lot of fun. It's great for all the kids.
Yeah.
And we have a blast.
So this is your Disney.
It is, yeah. It's definitely Carol loves it.
Oh, it's New York. Come on.
Yeah. And we take him to a Broadway musical.
Ooh, do you have that picked out yet?
I don't think so.
Oh, you gonna try and do Hamilton? Mean Girls? Hadestown? Moulin Rouge? 6.
Okay, I don't know.
I'm just giving you a bunch of ideas.
And then we usually do like a excursion, pick your own adventure night. And last time, let's see, last time I took a group of kids to a off-Broadway production called Fuerza Bruta.
Oh, geez.
And it was really pretty neat.
Wow.
It was great. It was like, they had this like trampoline. Well, first of all, like you were kind of part of it, and the stage moved and you had to move with it, and the performers were all around you. And then they had trampoline above you, and people were performing on that and stuff. It was like a full experience.
Wow.
It was neat.
Sounds neat.
So
thanks for the invite. Is there anything you want to plug, Matt Ehlers?
Is there anything I would like to plug?
Maybe your MySpace page or
yes, of course, my MySpace page.
Is there a McCallum percussion page? Why don't you plug your concert so that we can pump up the amount of people that would go for donations?
That's a great idea.
You know what? It is a good idea.
Make sure I get them correct.
I'm full of great ideas.
You are.
Yeah, especially the playing my music idea.
Well, we have a McCallum Percussion YouTube channel.
Oh, you do? All right.
Yeah. That I try to, as you've noticed, like social media wise, I'm not like super active. I use it to keep in touch with family and friends who I maybe don't live near, and then also use it to showcase all the achievements that the students have and get that music out there, because I think we're in a very exciting time for chamber music, and especially percussion chamber music. I think is exploding at a faster rate than most other chamber music art forms. And I think largely because all the cool videos that are out there.
I'm looking at your website, your YouTube page right now. First of all, I love your logo, the Mac percussion one.
Yeah.
Very, very Austin.
It is,
yes.
Yeah.
I do appreciate you took a picture. Is that the Long Center?
Yes.
You did the stock thing. Remember when we talked about what cool ideas would be if you did your photo shoots around like iconic, like top notch?
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah, it would be cool. Well, when you go back again.
Yeah.
got a few ideas for
Sure,
you.
good.
Not just photo related. so McCallum Percussion, McCallum, that's your YouTube channel. They have 167 subscribers. Wow, you have videos of pieces that you've played. Nathan Daughtry, CJ Mengi, Greg Simon. You can go on. I'm just scrolling down to see if there's anybody's name I recognize. Continue.
Continue. Okay, so our percussion concert is on Friday, February the 28th. And I feel like I didn't know I was going to plug this. Otherwise, we probably would have tried to have our act together and have a local charity already chosen. But yeah, we will be raising money and awareness for a Central Texas charity. So it'll be a lot of fun. And it features McCallum and then the Lamar percussionists as well. We'll do some samba stuff. So yeah,
that's cool.
It's at 7:00 at McCallum in the Fine Arts Center.
The Fine Arts Center.
I think it's called the MAC. Let's see here. What does that stand for?
The
McCallum Arts Center.
Oh, that
there
makes
you go.
sense.
McCallum,
the MAC,
and they call it MAC.
At the MAC.
Yes.
At the MAC.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
So yeah, we always we don't do like we have separate steel band concerts, so we won't do like a whole bunch of steel band stuff. There might be pan on a few tunes, but
sure.
But we will do a short samba set at it.
Are you going to be blowing the samba whistle?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
That's worth the price of admission right there.
There you go. Did you hear about our samba set at Midwest?
I did not. Tell me about it.
Okay.
All right.
So we had our regular Midwest formal concert. And
that's right. This is the pictures when you're outside. You're all in blue and you're outside the exhibit hall. Okay.
Yes, and so they do exhibit hallway concerts, and they ask everybody like if you would be willing to perform or if you have a group. And I was like, I said, yeah, we're gonna have our samba drums there anyway because we opened up our formal concert with it, and it's fun. I was like, it's loud, and I sent them videos, and they were all about it. They're like, no, this would be great change of pace. They stuck us on the side next to like the music instrument vendors because it's already loud there.
Yeah, sure.
The other side is more like publishers. Yeah, exactly. So we were playing, and we were just going to do a 30-minute set, and it was fun. Like the crowd was big and super into it, which it was fun. It was a blast. And then all of a sudden, this guy came up to me. He's kind of a bigger guy, older gentleman, and he's giving me like the T sign, like time out. And he's like screaming at me, and we're playing. Like samba, you don't like necessarily have songs. Like you get on a ride pattern, and then you'll call breaks.
Right.
But there's not necessarily like a stop in the music.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it's all parade music.
Yeah, of course.
And so I kind of look at him like, what? And I have earplugs in because it's loud.
It's loud, yes.
And he's like, you gotta stop. And he gets like right in my face. And he goes, cut this S out. What? And like yells it at me. Yeah, it's crazy. And I'm kind of taken by it.
Yeah.
And I like take a step back. And we only had like 5 minutes left.
Sure.
We were pretty much done. And I didn't really know who this guy was either. And I was like, okay. And I like look at the crowd and I kind of shrug.
Yeah.
And so I walk in front of the kids and I do a call to stop them, turn and bow. And I'm like, sorry guys, I guess that's it. And so this guy heads back into the exhibit hall. But of course, like the worst thing you can do is probably to upset a parent.
Right.
And so this string of parents just V-lined for him.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And he was a music vendor.
Of course it was.
And yeah, they
Are you going to tell us what music vendor it was?
Mirrophone. He was a tuba player. Yeah. Yeah. So they, the parents are parents, and they were upset. They spent a lot of money for their kid to be there. They know their kid worked really hard to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't really have a good. I didn't talk to him. I talked to the kids, and I was like, "It's fine." I was like, "Hey, how much more rock and roll can we get? We just got kicked out of Midwest, guys. This is so punk rock.
It really is."
And I was like, "Yes." And we left the audience wanting more. This is all good. Let's just call it quits. You know.
Yeah.
I might have said something to the effect of like, well, he plays tuba. Like he probably wanted to play drums. His parents, he's a little better. So, and I talked to the kid, like we got back from the break and we were reflecting on our Chicago trip and all that, because I didn't get it. You leave Chicago or Midwest and it's like people go to their own way. So I was like, okay, what's your favorite musical experience there? Non-musical. What's your most vivid memory? And some of them were like, well, that guy yelling at you, and it was just like, I was like, I probably will never speak to him.
Right.
If I were, I would just be like, I'm sure you wouldn't walk up in the middle of a wind ensemble concert or an orchestra concert or whatever. I would like you to respect all art forms. Like, if he was in Brazil, he would definitely wouldn't walk up in the middle of a battery playing. It's like, man, come on.
Wow.
It was interesting. It was fun. And it was also interesting how big of a stir it created. With the parents, our fine arts director was there front row.
Oh.
He was very upset. So I know he spoke to people. Kathy Humphrey was super upset.
Oh my gosh.
And she's so awesome. She used to teach at McCallum.
Did she?
Yeah, late 90s. She's awesome. And so she got all upset. She was firing off emails. And I don't know, I was just taken by how, it's great that people are upset about it, but I was like,
oh, this is like Midwest Confidential right here.
Yeah.
So if Miraphone's not back next year.
Well, yeah.
I didn't even know Miraphone was still around. I don't even know what Miraphone, don't they make fiberglass tubas or something?
No, they're actually really expensive tubas. I think they're very nice.
Oh, so I'm looking at it right now. Apparently, I assume a Miraphone is something different. Oh, yeah, you're right.
But yeah, so they
won't be sponsoring this podcast.
I guess. I'm sorry for that.
We're a little too punk rock for them.
That's right.
Here.
So I thought that it was kind of a fun way to end our performance experience there.
Wow, yeah.
Because our actual concert went fantastic. We had a lot of fun, and it was very us. And the kids played great, and then we did that, which is also very us and fun. And then that happened. It's like, what a great story. We'll take it.
That is a great story. That is a wonderful story to end this podcast, Matthew. It's been a pleasure to have you here today. You are an absolute delight. I think I'd like to change now and have the Black Squeeze perform to the Miraphone people and see what kind of reaction we can get to those guys.
Way too loud for them.
I think you could put a tuba in the Black Squeeze, couldn't you?
Sure.
This episode of Sketchbook Podcast is recorded, edited, and produced by me, Daniel Montoya Jr. in Austin, Texas. Our logo is created by John Suh of Purpose Designs, and our music is provided by Epidemic Sound. If you enjoy Sketchbook, tell a friend about the show or share a link on social media. You can rate and review this show on Apple Podcasts, and you might find your review featured on a future episode. Got questions, comments, suggestions, or concerns? Email us at sketchbookpodcast@gmail.com. It too could be featured on a future episode. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at SketchbookPod and join the Sketchbook community on Facebook at Sketchbook Podcast. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to Sketchbook Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Anchor, or wherever fine podcasts are downloaded. Thanks for listening.